Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games in the franchise in chronological order. Each episode will be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Scarab mission from Halo Wars on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. This episode, we're debriefing the Dome of Light mission from Halo Wars. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krysta Brown.
Pop the bubble! Pop the bubble!
It's a big purpley bubble thing. It's very nice. Last mission was Arcadia Outskirts. Forge, Red Team, and a handful of Marines escaped Perth City by the skin of their teeth and retreated to a defensible position outside the city. They held back the Covenant onslaught long enough for Spartan Team Omega to reinforce their efforts, eliminate the Covenant presence, and gain a foothold on the planet Arcadia. Cutter quickly orders Forge back to the Spirit of Fire to strategize over a newfound threat. In the Dome of Light, the Covenant have built themselves a bubble near an abandoned Oni base in the jungles of Arcadia, and Captain Cutter wants to know what they're up to. Professor Anders believes they can punch a hole in the energy shield using a team of experimental plasma-based vehicles named Rhinos. These artillery units must be positioned around the exterior of the base so they can concentrate their fire and expose the Covenant. The date of the game is February. We don't have an exact date, so it feels like it's a couple days after Arcadia Outskirts because they've had to kind of come back and strategize and plan what their next move is. Still in 2531. David, what's this cutscene all about?
This cutscene, it's pretty short. It's kind of.
It's fun to see the Spirit of Fire. Like I love it whenever they show the ship. Like it feels good.
Yeah, it just looks. They're pretty awesome at like showing the space, and like you kind of forget about the ship during the game, but like it is really where everything is coming from. Mm-hmm. So it's like it is important to kind of get that scale, and like the cutscenes are so good at just showing you, Spirit of Fire is massive, guys. Like you know what I mean? It is really, really, really big, and it's beautiful. And I can't remember. Why am I drawing a blank on the goddamn...
They're talking about how to pop the bubble.
Yep. They're talking about, they're strategizing, they're together, they have the little hologram of the energy shield, and Anders is talking about how the best way to essentially burst the bubble with the rhinos that they have.
Pop the cherry.
It is, it's a little pink, a little magenta. But they mention these rhinos, these experimental vehicles that they have, plasma-based rhinos. So, as the war, and we've talked about this kind of throughout the season or our series, Mission Debrief in general, how the UNSC have kind of taken technology from the Covenant as they've been trying to, win this war. And so somewhere along the lines, they figured out how to use plasma as a weapon, and so they've fit it into this Rhino, this new vehicle that they're talking about.
And we never heard from it again.
Yeah, and we never saw it ever.
It's a cool yet somewhat convenient. Oh look, weren't we testing one of these things? The exact thing we need right now in this moment.
Sure. And
it never appears, but it is cool, especially because you get the shout out to the Pillar of Autumn that is currently actually having these prototypes. So like that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. What I did think also was weird about this, the end of the last mission has Cutter going, Forge, get back up here, we need you on the ship. He comes up to the ship, says two lines, and he's like, Forge, get back down there and use the rhino. Like he did not need to travel all the way back up to the ship.
Sure.
Just to keep, I suppose, babysit Anders, which there's a cheeky little moment there, because obviously Anders has to be on the ground.
Cutter just wanted to smell Forge for a little while.
Probably.
I just want to be in your presence.
Is that canon?
Well, there's a saucy old look in Anders' eye when Forge is kind of griping about babysitting her.
Yeah.
So like, it's.
I thought that was a death glare.
Your tension there. No. She's. It's a happy glare. So,
Oh.
You know what I'm saying, Krysta?
No.
Yeah. Colin knows what I'm saying.
I've seen that glare from my wife many times.
A happy glare?
It's not a happy glare.
Let me tell you, if you think it's happy, you might need to reassess.
Yeah, it's a pretty basic cutscene. It's just showing you, pretty much spelling out why you're going to see the thing you're going to see and what happens next. It's very short.
Yeah.
The mission pretty much begins right after that. You can get a nice little scene of the dome, and the idea is obviously using multiples of these rhinos to take out this section of this dome to see what's going on inside.
Yeah, they shake the beehive. I like that comment. How they send out the rhino and it fires one of its plasma barrages, and then a bunch of covenants start coming out, right? And then the mission begins from there. All right, we'll get into that rest of that in a little bit. Let's cover off on the objectives of the mission. The first is to kill approaching covenant infantry. Request a rhino at the landing pad. Interesting note is that the landing pad, and you think you mentioned it, David, is that the rhinos are coming from the Pillar of Autumn, because that's where that technology was being experimented on. So the landing pad we have in this mission speaks to the Pillar of Autumn, whereas everything else is coming from the Spirit of Fire.
I feel bad for that first rhino. It was pretty much just sent out there to die.
It just got fucked instantly.
Well, and it makes me wonder, are these things somehow remote controlled, or are they
possibly
all manned? Because isn't Anders, she's in this tower, and it kind of shows it during when you have that overview, the flyover. Anders is in the tower. Is she the one that's controlling it, or is she just coordinating their attacks?
I'd feel better if they were. Well, I suppose we're used to like humans sacrificing themselves for Covenant.
I mean, at the same time, I'm sure we've all had a complete party wipe in Halo Wars, and none of us felt bad then, so why should we feel bad now?
Right.
We're God in this game.
Right. Sacrifices must be made. The third objective is then get the rhino to the first position, then place a rhino at the second position, and then transport, which we'll talk about, transport a rhino to the third position. And then the final two objectives are get rhinos to the last two marked positions, and then we have some fun and destroy the dome generators and air defenses, and that's a fun little surprise at the end of the mission. Optional objectives are kill 50 banshees, which I feel like that was pretty natural and organic. I didn't have to really try to do that.
There's many.
A ton of banshees, yeah. And then claim 2 Oni reactors, and that's some strategic points that I'm sure we'll all cover in our walkthroughs. Part time is 15 to 30 minutes, so you have a wide spread there. You can beat it pretty quickly, or take a little longer, but you won't get super penalized until after that 30 minutes. I believe the clock does start to run down, or the multiplier does start to run down after the 15, though. Scoring gold. So we have 45,000 plus for gold. Silver is 25 to 45. Bronze is 15 to 25, and then tin. Our lowly tin folks are 0 to 15.
Where my tin folks at?
Theoretical best score, and this is again from our the guide that I've found online, the pre-mid guide, the official guide. 56,000 is the theoretical best score. You can actually get above that if you use a skull. So keep that in mind. My score, I was at 47,974. I got gold. David, what'd you get?
Got gold. Good job, Colin.
Thank you.
I knew you could do it. I wrote mine in here. I'm scrolling down now. I got 48,389.
You got me on this
just
time.
A little bit.
What skull is it that makes the score higher?
The ones like the fog one, I think makes it with like a 1.2 multiplier.
Oh, you mean like with the skull bonus?
Yeah, the skull bonus. You can get above and beyond. Why would you get?
Okay, I have a picture of it for proof. I got 65,611.
What?
I don't.
So you're playing different missions.
I don't
than we
know.
are.
I have proof. I will send it to the group chat. I have proof.
Krysta, stop adding up all your scores from previous games. That's not how this works.
I have proof.
You said 65,000?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't know.
You must have multiple skulls on or something.
So
no, I don't. The skull bonus is 0.
That's crazy.
I need help. I don't know what's going on. My Halo Wars
We'll
is
investigate
broken.
further. We'll investigate further. It's like Halo Wars. Like, you beat me on Legendary. I'm gonna lay down. Here's your scores. Here's all your points.
It's on normal. You can see on the picture I showed. It's on normal. It's the right thing. I don't know what's going on.
That's amazing. You crush this. So what we're gonna do? So a couple changes now to our format, which we've talked about offline, is what we're gonna start to do is we're gonna have a standings now. So we're gonna have a little internal competition for our scores, and over the course of Halo Wars, I'll have a running standing. So I've done the addition. I went back to the previous episodes and listened to who had the high score, and now Krysta has this high score again. She leads. She has had 4 of the high scores. So Krysta has 4. Your host Colin has 2 high scores, which leaves. Let's see, how many missions have we played? 6. 4 plus 2 is 6, which means David has not had a high score yet.
He's not trying.
No, but he will try. This will motivate him. He will try so hard now. And also I've been playing on heroic, so I'm gonna go and play on normal now. So we're all on a level playing field, and then I'm also going to play with my controller instead of the mouse. So we're gonna try to get on a level playing field from here on forward and see what happens.
So quick question: what times did you guys get?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't write that down.
Okay, because my time is 15 minutes and 34 seconds.
That must be it. You must be getting some solid time bonus. I'm definitely longer than 15 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I was longer than 15 minutes too. So yeah, you're getting through it pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm looking at the picture you sent us, and you're not getting a skull bonus in there too. So I don't know. Further investigation is happening. We'll give this crown to you. We'll give the crown to you for Domo.
Tentatively. If we find out there's something wrong with my Halo Wars, I will replay the mission.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, that'll be a fun little competition. And then I think the other caveat is play maximum of 3 or until you beat the mission. So if you're struggling with the mission for some reason, like I've been doing on heroic, I think I played this one more than 3 times to finally beat it. But so max of 3, so you can replay up to 3 times if you don't like your first score. But then if you just haven't beat it, then take whatever score you get when you finally beat the mission. Make sense?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, Krysta.
Yeah.
What's in the toy box for this mission?
It's not as fun as the last mission, but we still got some nice things. We got Forge and our Spartan 2s as well. Jerome, Alice, and Douglas. Very nice. Love them. We have the Rhinos, which are basically useless except for completing the objectives.
Right, yeah.
We have our fire base that can be upgraded to a station, then a fortress. Supply pad, reactor, turrets, and warthogs is what it comes with. Our barracks, which has Marines and flamethrower Marines, normal. Vehicle depot that has Scorpion, Cobra, and Wolverine. Very good. No air pad this time. I was so sad. I'm like, this is the worst day of my entire life.
I was looking for it because I was like, if we could get Vultures in the last mission, I want Vultures in this mission. But we have no air superiority here at all.
The only time you can get air is if you make your Spartans hijack a Banshee, which is actually really tough. It was really tough for me to get them in a Banshee. Yeah. And then, of course, we have our field armory, reserves, reinforcements, turret upgrades, and adrenaline. So all basic stuff we've all seen. There's nothing new except for our MacGuffin.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So adrenaline, I think we talked about adrenaline in the past. It's for faster. It's not for more health. It's for faster units. Yeah. I think it's just specifically for Marines.
Oh, okay.
So do they move faster or train faster or what?
No, they move faster. Reserves is they'll train, like everything will train faster or be built faster, and then adrenaline just means that they can Marine. I think it's Marine specific that they'll actually just run faster.
That kind of makes sense. Apologies for my mistake.
Oh, no worries. Keep going, Krysta.
We of course have the Spirit of Fire abilities, Heal and Repair, and Transport. We'll talk about that a little later. Our Covey units, we got our ground units, Elites, Grunts, Jackals, Hunters.
So I put in the notes, Hunters on Heroic are a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, they're
very upgraded.
Shit, yeah.
So I wrote down the upgrades for them. They're bonded shield. So their first upgrade is them having a shield, which we're used to seeing Hunters have. And then there's a spirit bond, which is when you see them walking around, there's like this I don't know, it's like a little connection, like electronic connection almost between the two of them. And that just makes them tougher and being able to take more damage, and it probably causes they dish out more damage as well. But whenever I see Hunters that have that little connection, it's like, oh god, here we go. They take a lot of damage for that. And then the third upgrade is Assault Beam, and they get very tough very quickly. Yeah. Well, it's their what is their main weapon called again? I'm forgetting.
The
what
plasma
it is. It's
cannon?
Like the fuel rod. The fuel rod. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So anyway,
they suck.
They suck in this mission.
And they're anti-vehicle too, and like the only thing you really have is vehicle stuff anyway. I mean, you're not sending Marines to kill Hunters. It's so dumb. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But anyway, we have Shade Turrets and Towers. Very fun. Spirit Dropships. It's okay. Ground Vehicles, Ghosts, Wraiths, and Locusts. You're not going to see Wraiths on normal, really. You'll see the Locusts, though. And then
I saw 2 Wraiths on Heroic, I think. There's one on the very last spot. In the last corner.
Which is nice, because you can make the Spartans get them, which is great.
Yeah.
I wanted them to get Locusts, but at that point I had them all in tanks anyway, so I was like, I'm not taking them out of a tank to put them in a Locust. Our air units, we have Banshees. It is to be said that I did see vampires, but they didn't attack me.
Okay.
They were
I don't remember seeing them.
At the very end of the mission where you do the like special thing, you'll see them like kind of hovering around the shield. Yeah. And every time they pan over there are vampires, but they don't actually.
Yeah, they just fly around the shield. Yeah. They don't interact with the game though.
Gotcha.
And that's about it. That's all we got. Simple mission. It's more objective based than actually like building a huge army, which is kind of fun. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of enemy, like a lot of Covenant. They're just they keep throwing stuff at you.
Oh, especially at your base.
Yeah, especially at the base. There's not a lot of variety in their units, but there's just a lot to deal with. It's more of a quantity type situation. Real quick on the difficulty modifiers. Easy. All units have 50% less health and inflict 50% less damage. So that's like baby mode. Don't play easy. Heroic. There are extra Covenant turrets and bases, and Hunters arrive earlier and are more upgraded. To my point earlier, they are a pain in the ass, and that's why, because I was playing on Heroic. Legendary, all units have 25% more health and inflict 25% more damage. There are extra Covenant units, extra Covenant turrets and bases. And I think the bases they're talking about are those little transport spots.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a couple more of them around. So it's like where they kind of beam the units closer to where you are. And then Hunters arrive earlier and more upgraded. So Legendary in this mission would be a pain, especially try to get gold. Oof, I'd shudder at that one. All right, so since I have the low score, I will go first, and then we'll see how our strategies changed as you go up in score. And Krysta's like outrageous score that broke the game. See what she did for that one. I'm very interested now. So I really struggled to figure this one out. I was I think what I did is I moved the Rhino up to that first spot a little bit too quickly, and I didn't have enough of an army. And when you move it up to that first spot, it triggers that little cutscene right away, where it makes that first fire. And then it doesn't fire, but then it cues the second spot once you get it up there, right?
Yeah.
And it says, oh, okay, now you have it in the first spot. Now you got to go over to this other spot, and I'll highlight it and say, now we got to go over there. So when I sent my Rhino up right away with just a couple units, really just my main units to start with that I had, it showed the other area. I wasn't built up enough. I didn't have enough of an army to really go and attack that second spot to the left. So what I learned over time is I needed to let's build up 15 or so units first, and then send my Rhino up to then cue that second spot reveal, because I think once it reveals that second spot, then that's when the little bases are actually appear on the map, and then all the Covenant appear there. So if you go up too quickly, then you just won't have enough of an army to combat them. What I did is waited longer to like just build up my forces. So you have the Oni reactor to kind of the back left of the map, so you can get in that one right away. And I used a Marine to grab that one, and then there's one off to the right, so that's the second one. And I think I put a Spartan in that one right away, just because there tended to be a lot more activity over there, and the Spartan can do a better job of defending that spot. So then you have your 2 reactors right away, so you don't really have to build one in your base until you need that third one for upgrades, which is pretty handy. Did you guys go grab those right away, or did you kind of wait on those?
You spawn with 2 sets of Marines, which is really nice. So I spawned, I immediately garrisoned both of those Marine squads into the reactors.
Okay, so you did both your Marines. Okay.
Yeah, I did 1 reactor, and I garrisoned them into like the tower. So there's like these towers that are scattered around the map.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So I garrisoned them in there because I figured that we'd be fighting a lot of air. So that's kind of what I do with my first 2 Marines. So one reactor and then 1 into the tower nearest my base.
Gotcha. Oh, I didn't see the tower. I didn't even use that one.
There's like 3 or 4 of them on the map.
There's a tower when you put the Rhino in the first spot, then your ODSTs drop into. I didn't mention that, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So they come in and then they start to protect that. Some of those will automatically go into the tower that's right near that first Rhino spot.
Oh, they didn't for me, but it's probably because I had Marines in there.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. There's a little bit of resource gathering to do right away, not a whole lot, but definitely do that to give you a little bit of a supply boost. And then I think my build was typically what I've been doing is, supply. For this one, since I had those 2 reactors, I decided to wait on a reactor right away. So I think I might have done supply, and then I got like a vehicle depot up, and then a field armory, and then I think on the one I succeeded on, I don't think I even did a barracks at all. Like it didn't seem like Marines were necessary for me, so I didn't build them. But yeah, so then you need to go off to the second spot, and then like hunters are over there and they're just a pain. So I built up about a couple cobras and a couple scorpions before I sent them over there. Clear out that spot, take that over, and then that's where the interesting thing comes in with that transport ability. It's there's another kind of little bit of a tutorial 6 missions in, is then you can't actually physically drive over to the third spot on the far left. You have to use the transport to get your pelicans to bring everything over. What did you think about that transport, Krysta? Did you like that mechanic? Is it necessary?
I loved it for this just because the rhinos move so incredibly slowly. Yeah, I used it for pretty much every single objective.
So you grabbed the rhino and then just did the transport to each spot then?
Pretty much 1 and 2 I didn't because they're so brilliant. Close, but 3, 4, and 5 I immediately transported them because one, like your own units will block the rhino from going where it needs to go. So it's way easier to just do Pelican and have it fly straight there, is what I did.
Mm-hmm. God, that's brilliant. I didn't even think about that.
I know, I'm a genius.
This is why she's getting all those points, Colin.
That's right.
why it took me 15 minutes.
Getting all these genius points.
That's good. Very nice. So bring your transport your rhino over to the third spot. You have to, and then it'll do the cutscene where you do the initial barrage, and then you get a little bit of a hole in the bubble, but you don't get all the way through. So then Anders chimes in and said, "Okay, I got 2 more spots for you." But at that point, and especially on heroic, at least I was feeling it heavy. That's when locusts climb up on the side. Yeah. And that's when things get a lot more difficult. So you really need to have a good-sized army to combat that, because from there, like you kind of need to sprint to the end. You need to be ready to sprint to the end if you want to get a decent score, to take on those locusts right away, take that 4th spot, and then just kind of move on to the next spot. Real quick on the black box. So the black box is in the kind of the top left. It's on the other side of when you transport to the third. It's
location. By 3, like it's right below 3.
Yep. Yep. So you have to actually drive around a little bit to get to that black box. So you can't see it right away from where the third rhino sits. You have to drive. You kind of have to head southwest a little, or I guess I don't know. The direction on this one is I'm
down.
not sure which one is north.
Facing
down,
away from
down
the dome
to the left. Right. Exactly. Speaking of, when I did a little bit more research on this mission, this facility, it's an Oni facility.
Oh.
Did you guys pick up on that at
No,
all?
they don't talk about it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's an Oni facility that's according to what I read on Halopedia, it was abandoned, and I don't know if it was abandoned shortly after the Covenant came to Arcadia or if it was already abandoned when they came, but this location that we're at, it is a UNSC, or I guess an Oni owned facility. It's just there's nobody there right now. But it's interesting, and that's why these reactors are there. That's kind of their explanation why these reactors exist already, and they're called Oni reactors.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's like speculation, like did Oni evacuate when Covenant came, or were they all killed when the Covenant came?
Yeah, Oni are bitches, and they'll just take all their shit and leave usually.
Right. But it's also there's this site that they're investigating nearby, like the Covenant are up to something. So maybe did Oni put their site here, this facility nearby where they found something? So the UNSC might have known what was up here already, but then the Covenant found out about it on Harvest and then came to Arcadia. It's like that could have been how it all played out, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, totally possible.
Yeah. All right, so get the fourth spot. This locust will spawn. Oh, also right around here is when I was able to get my skull. I was able to take out my banshees, and along the way, I really needed to, again on heroic, you needed to upgrade my turrets. Upgraded turrets on this is huge,
so good.
Huge, because I had a lot of problems with the waves, the constant waves of the Covenant coming to attack my base. You only get one base in this mission. And they would, they kept coming, and I just didn't have enough. I didn't leave enough forces to defend my base. So if you upgrade your turrets, that helps a ton, and they make pretty short work of the ongoing assault onto your fire base. The skull itself, once you get the banshees, will spawn right behind your base, and this is where you actually have to turn the camera to see it. At least I wasn't able to see it right away. It's in a garage that's behind your base. So go back and you send a Marine to get that. I actually tried to send a Warthog and it wasn't able to pick it up. Actually, I had to send a ground unit. And then the fifth spot is just like an all-out assault, and I just kind of sent everybody up there. There was Locust for me. There was a couple race up there, and you just have to shove as much of an army. So at that point, I had done my reinforcements upgrade so that I had 40 total units, or I could have built up to 40 units and just sent everybody up to that spot. And then if I was smart like Krysta, I would have transported my Rhino up there, but I just like slowly had my Rhino rumble up to that fifth spot. And then let's talk about the very end, once we all do our playthrough, because I think that's a fun thing to talk about. But okay, so the fun story that I had, the highest score that I got, is I did this a couple ways. It's like, okay, I wanted to do it with, I just couldn't figure out the right strategy, what the right mix of vehicles was for this mission. So what I did is what I call a hog rush, and maybe this is a thing, but I built only hogs.
Oh God!
I upgraded my warthogs to gosshogs, and that's all I did. And then I upgraded my base to large turrets and everything. I just maximized everything on that, and then I had an army of 25 warthogs just roaming around the mission, just wrecking house. It was so much fun, and that's how I got my highest score, is just sending them from location to location, that final spot up on the top right. And I think some of them gained veterancy over time too, but those gosshogs were just pointed over there, and then I would do my Spirit of Fire heal on them because they are weaker than the other vehicles. But it's fun, and all I would do at the end, I would have just a queue, my build queue was I had 8 warthogs coming, right? I just kept clicking on it. Every time I had enough resources, kept clicking on warthog and just sending them to the next spot. And they cleaned up, and I was able to get through the mission pretty quickly and get my gold by just doing my hog rush. It was fun. David, take us through your approach.
That's cool. I did mostly kind of similar. Not a whole lot different, except I heavily invested in Wolverines.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Wolverines.
So I was like,
okay.
this thing's air. It's gonna be a lot of air. So I'm like, I was always building Wolverines, and that was awesome. So that took me a little time to get used to. I did a lot of garrisoning, made some troops, put them into the towers around the map. I did a lot of pre-exploring before I even built my first Rhino. So I got both to like the second and third points, but there's nothing there.
No, it doesn't
Nothing
spawn
spawns
in. Yeah.
So I was like,
Oh,
that
okay,
kind of got me caught unawares, like, because, like you said, I knew when you trigger from the first Rhino that would be like the game would start then.
Yeah.
So I just like pre-explored everything. I was like, oh, this is okay. I've got some garrison troops. Then I built a crap ton of, like, I had to build like maybe 2 turrets at my base, and everything else was Wolverines everywhere.
Wow. Did you upgrade the Wolverines too, so they're like super Wolverines by the end?
They weren't crazy update. Their like upgrade was like a ground attack, and I think I did upgrade it, but I don't think I ever used it. I pushed a few Marines in and stuff like that, and had a few had 1 or 2 Scorpions, but nothing major. And pretty much everything else was Wolverines. And it was pretty fun. I won't lie to you.
That'd be fun to see. Like, it's all the rockets going up.
Oh, just all the rockets, man. Every Banshee just got wrecked. I had Wolverines all over the map. Like, when I moved the first Rhino up, I had like 5 Wolverines. I was like, I'm just ready for what comes next here.
Oh, that's good.
And that was perfect. And then when the ODSTs drop in, they're not technically part of your army, so they're not part of your cap. So that's kind of cool. So you can kind of just leave them there. I didn't. That's pretty much it. I mean, I totally forgot about the transport again. I'm just constantly forgetting about the leader powers. So I forgot about the transport until it tells you to do it, and then I was like, "Oh, this is way better." I'm just transporting everything everywhere, which is pretty much what I did after that.
Okay.
Just kind of
what does it cost? Does it cost
300
or something?
Yeah, it's cheap enough. Like, it's cheap enough. Because my base, I pretty much was. It was just supply pads and like a barracks, and then the place for vehicles, the armory. I guess is it armory? What's the vehicles?
Vehicle depot.
Vehicles is vehicle depot.
Yeah. Sorry, vehicle depot. Yeah.
With the transport, were you able? How many vehicles were you able to take? Because I only had, I think, when I tried to use it, I had like a couple Scorpions and a Rhino, and so like I just sent those 3 over. But does it take
everything. Yeah, it takes everything in that area that you designate. That circle.
That's huge.
So like you can get a lot of units in there, and it's kind of cool, but also ridiculous, but cool that it just kind of comes in, and then you designate the drop point essentially. But it was pretty cool. Like, it felt awesome seeing like these 2 big pelicans come in and sweep up half my army and bring it across to zone 3. And I was like, "Oh, guys, get out of my way!" It was pretty cool.
What did you do with your Spartans? Because I didn't mention, I put them on my Warthog rush. I ended up putting them in Warthogs.
Totally forgot that they could take Spartan vehicles. So
this is why you're losing, David.
Yeah. I don't know what I get them in. One of them had. I think I did have a. I don't know what I did with them, to be honest. Now that I think about it. I think I just left them on foot. Probably. That's my own fault. But anyway, I was having so much fun with Wolverines.
Yeah, that's cool. And then Wolverines will attack ground units also. They're just they specialized with the air units.
They're not very good against ground vehicles. I always had like a couple of Spartans with me and my Scorpions when I was attacking like the actual depots and stuff like that. And it was easy enough. Like, it wasn't too difficult. It was pretty fun.
Nice, very cool. All right, Krysta, take us through your amazing run.
All right, guys.
Start with the cheat code you entered.
It's time for class. Class is beginning now. All right, this is what
You're
do.
Gonna make us all better.
The game starts. You immediately take both of your Marines. Take those reactors off the bat. You make all supply pads. Nothing else. You immediately drop down the whatever it's called, the thingy. I don't have my notes.
Rhino?
Yeah, the Rhino.
The Rhino, yeah.
You immediately drop down a Rhino and put it in position. And then you just turtle for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once you have enough resources, you immediately you upgrade the Warthog twice, and you upgrade the tank once. So once I got those...
So you had to build a reactor at some point.
Yeah,
right?
once I got the other 2 supply pads from upgrading to a fortress, I built the vehicle depot, and then I built the reactor. I upgraded those 3 things, immediately got rid of the reactor and replaced it with another supply pad.
Oh.
Yeah, and because
So what? You blew up your reactor?
Yeah, because you don't need it anymore.
Research, you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it.
So you can still get 3 lightning bolts?
No, I already used it. I used it for the upgrades. That's all I needed.
Yeah, once you have the upgrades, you don't need the lightning bolt anymore.
Yeah, because then it's just wasted
but
space.
Then you can still technically build the vehicle that needs 3 energy?
No, the vehicle tank. I only built tanks and warthogs.
Oh, I see. So you keep the upgrade and then just get rid of the reactor, and then just build tanks, which only need 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the lightning bolt is only for the to upgrade your units. Once the upgrades are done, you don't need the reactor anymore. You get rid of it because it's just wasted space.
Very cool.
And then you just do the supply pad, upgrade it. The important part is
I never do that, but it's obviously an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Because then you get the more supplies. It's worth it. Because the nice thing about having those 2 reactors off the bat is even before I upgrade my base to a fortress, all my supply pads are upgraded.
Are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, of course, you build the turrets on all sides of the base and stuff like that. I upgraded the 2 on the back were the missile turrets for the Banshees, and the 2 on the front were the anti-infantry ones. And then once you turtle for a little bit. I just capped out my max with just tanks and gauze hogs, and that was it. Spartans were always in tanks, so you always make sure there's a Spartan in each one of your tanks. And then you just start plowing through stuff. So I plowed through through the first one, immediately got the vehicle to its place. Another trick is to make sure that the moment you can summon the next vehicle, you summon it right away. Because it takes time for it to... It doesn't take that much time, but it still takes time for the Pelican to drop it off. So you do that, you immediately teleport it to the next...
The Rhino?
Yeah, the Rhino. Yep. So once it spawns, you immediately start teleporting it to the next position. So teleport...
But you have to clear out that next spot, right?
3?
Before you teleport?
No, I teleported the Rhino and 2 warthogs with it, and then put it up to 3. So now 3's taken over, and the rest of my army is already going to capture 4 and 5. Once 4 is captured, I summon another Rhino, teleport it over, and by the time the Rhino gets there, my team has already cleared out 5, and then you do another Rhino, and then you send it over, and that's it. That's it. You're done. Easy peasy.
Wow. I think you need to do a stream of this and just teach people how to play Halo.
Okay.
Because that's impressive.
It's not that tough. It's not tough.
No, it's not. It's a lot of...
I should have been a military commander.
It's a lot of multitasking for sure, but you pulled it off. That's great.
It's a lot of understanding what you need when you need it and what you don't when you don't, which I don't really factor in at all, to be honest.
Well, and did you play the mission a couple of times to kind of come up with this strategy, or did you just kind of sort that out right away?
My second playthrough of the mission, I got 60,000, and then I did another one just to see if I got any better, but it was only like a couple 100 points higher.
Okay.
So it took one. One playthrough was the first one was my heroic playthrough to just get it out of the way, and then I did my normal playthrough second time.
Oh, so you're doing heroic first?
Yeah, just to... Oh, well, I accidentally pressed the button with heroic already selected.
Oh, okay.
But I've been trying to do a heroic at least one heroic playthrough now. So
maybe I can convince you for next Halo Wars 2 to do heroic. David, we're going to get you up. We're going to get your skill up.
It's so much, but it's much more fun on normal. Like, it's like you can bash through stuff, a lot more fun.
You feel more powerful, but I feel like it's more heavily leans on strategy in heroic, which is I
don't know, because when you're beating the clock, the strategy is completely different when you're trying to beat the clock. I feel like in heroic you're just trying to survive. Like normal you're trying to like get below par time, which I wasn't able to do because of the stupid Mac thing. I would have gotten I was like at 1430 when I finished that last one, and I'm like, well, I have 30 seconds. There's no way I'm going to be able to waste all the Mac rounds by the time it hits 15, because the counter still
You don't have to
goes.
waste them all, though.
You just have to blow up the buildings, but still, it takes more than 30 seconds because the Mac rounds take so long. So So
wait, you didn't have fun with the Mac round, is what you're saying at the end, because you're racing the time?
Yeah, because I'm trying to race the clock. I was really pissed off, actually. I'm like, really?
That's like the best part of the mission.
It's fun, it's cute, but it's like at the same time, like I would have been much happier if the clock wasn't ticking while that was happening.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like if it ended when you got everybody in position.
Yeah, because that's technically the end of the mission, and then this is just supposed to be like a cute little like, oh, look, you're in the background, you're destroying the Covenant base, isn't this badass? It's like, yeah, but My 30
yes, it
seconds
is
are now
badass.
up. I would have been fine. So then, if you want to
Right.
get below part-time, you basically have to get like a minute and a half.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get up there, it's so stupid.
So at the end, just to preface, at the end, your coordinated 5 Rhino attack does pop a hole in the bubble in the energy shield, and then you get to, with your controller or mouse, you get to control the Mac rounds firing. And they say something about take out the generators. I think the shield generators is what they say. But then there's a base underneath there, so you're just kind of going around destroying all the buildings.
Mac.
And so David, to your point, do you have to kill the specific buildings it wants you to destroy? And then
I don't know.
end?
I don't know, to be honest.
didn't
But
get
I
a good
know,
sense of that.
like, it gives you 30 shots. You don't have to waste 30 shots. I want to feel like I maybe fired 10 before it
Yeah.
ended.
Mm-hmm. So maybe you can miss on a couple if people aren't
Yeah.
good with the Mac round, whatever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But it's. I agree with Krysta. I would have rather had that just be Halo Wars fun time versus build that into the overall part time. Cool, Krysta. Nice work. Dang.
I'm a genius,
work,
guys.
Sophie.
I'm so
You are a
smart. You guys
genius.
make me
You're
feel really
strategic.
smart.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
I
or
don't
not
know.
To us, back to us. We are giving you a compliment. High praise for Krysta.
Thank you.
Nice
Good job,
work.
Christopher.
All right. What's any trivia for the mission?
There's a few little bits and pieces in there that I got for yous. Apparently, if you send a captured Banshee towards the energy shield, the Banshee will immediately self-destruct and the Spartan will fall to the ground. The Spartan will then respawn by the UNSC base.
Huh.
Oh.
There you go. When the Rhinos requested, sometimes the Pelican pilot refers to the ground team as Harvest Service Command. This may be an oversight by the devs, or the level takes since as the level takes place on Arcadia. However, it is possible that the Spirit of Fire is still officially assigned to Harvest, which is kind of weird, but I noticed that too.
I noticed that as well. I was confused.
Yeah.
Sounds like an oversight.
It could be, yeah. The ODST squads that are sent to guard the first Rhino each have 2 medics instead of 1. I didn't notice that, but that's cool.
Huh.
The shield dome for which this level is named is very similar to the Covenant spires seen in Halo Reach.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. You see like the common architecture. And the last one is an obvious one of, we get aid from the Pillar of Autumn, which is clearly from Halo CE. There you go, people.
Yay!
Yeah, very nice. All right, Krysta, what's that black box say?
All right. From the office of the High Prophet of Regret, Arbiter, you are the hand of the Covenant. My hand. Ooh. You know what must be done. Return to the surface and capture the human female, the one who managed to make fools of us on Harvest. She's the key to unlocking the secrets of the ancients. Uh-oh, Anders is in trouble.
Interesting.
Also, another note, like, when you look at the dome, when you start, like, opening it, like, bit by bit in those cutscenes, it has the halo green fog that you know is not good fog, but nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it's a little early for this, isn't it?
Ominous. All right, let's do some community stuff. David, you wanna take us
Community
through
stuff?
Facebook? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Perkins. That's you. Admin, February 7th at 10:05 p.m. Create a new vehicle for your favorite faction in Halo and give it an appropriate name. Question for mission debrief Halo War. I love your picture, by the way. It's awesome.
It's the
So that's the picture
Cybertruck.
of the amazing Cybertruck made by Mr. Tesla Man.
Elon Musk.
It just fits into Halo. It just fits into Halo so well. It's so
It does.
terrible.
That's the one without the turret in the back, too.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Logan, solid name, said, "Where are the truck nuts?" So I recently found out what truck nuts are. Americans are weird.
Oh, yes, I've seen truck nuts. Yep.
Yeah, you Americans are weird.
It's a real thing.
Lance says the UNSC Piranha, a fast and agile patrol boat used on planets where the environment may not be suitable for other land-based vehicles, and with a front-mounted twin M68 Gauss cannon, side-mounted M61 light anti-aircraft gun for defense, one side each with a crew of 4 tree gunners, 1 captain. The UNSC Piranha, the Warhog of the Seas.
I like
That's
it.
pretty dope. I like the effort you put in there, Lance. Well done.
Well, we haven't done any like water combat in Halo.
I know. It's an interesting thing to think about.
We have that one
I
kind
want a
of
jet
water
ski.
mission in Halo 2. right? Where we go underwater in that little pod with Master Chief.
I thought that was
That's
Bioshock.
The elevator ride. It felt like yeah, similar. Jason Hayes says the Queef Mobile.
Oh
boy.
no.
Whatever. Ryan says, I heard you guys like scorpions, so how about a scorpion, but with 8 gun barrels that all fire at once and take forever to reload? Welcome to UNSC Octopus. So, that's pretty funny.
Love it.
Yeah.
Kickback would be
barrels.
insane. I think the vehicle would go flying.
Yeah. Jesse just says the Puma, which is pretty good.
Okay.
Yep.
Red versus blue. We all know.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Lucas says, I'm surprised UNSC doesn't have anything like an APC. I would love to see one and call it a Badger. That's pretty cool. Badger sounds like something like a real thing. And then people post a lot of pictures of APCs.
Badgers are a real
And
thing.
then Chris actually says the UNSC does have an HPC called a Mastodon, which is actually from Halo Wars 2. I vaguely remember that, actually.
We'll get
I don't
there.
remember. I'm looking at it, and the name rings a bell, but not the design of the picture I'm looking at. That's pretty cool. Can't wait till we get there again. Storm says the UNSC Stingray. It's a deep sea submarine that made DC combat and has M68 Gauss cannons again, retrofitted for water combat with 2 mounted M41 and 4 torpedo tubes with heavily modified fire nuclear warhead torpedoes, which are also heavily modified to be fired underwater. Interesting.
Nice.
Stingray is a good name.
2 water vehicles. I love it.
Yeah, man. Anyone watch that show, Stingray? It's like one of those puppet shows called like Thunderbirds, but it was like underwater.
Oh.
And it was called Stingray, and it was just like a badass, slick submarine going around doing Thunderbird stuff, but underwater. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I shall
The one with
continue.
Steve Irwin?
No, Krysta.
Oh, God.
God damn you. It's too soon.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Brad says, wait, I got it, guys. How about a new Covenant vehicle? It's like the version of a Warthog. You can have rear-mounted plasma cannon, not one but 2 passengers. We'll call it the Spectre.
That's a Krysta burn,
Yeah.
by the way.
Ow.
Yeah, it is.
Help.
I'm
on fire.
Oh, yeah, that is actually a Krysta
From Halo
burn.
2,
I forgot.
remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
People are
pretty
mean
good.
to me. Help.
Stupid Krysta. Storm says, God of the Covenant though, it's a great mobile platform with 4 legs, fires laser beam of love, it's heavily fortified with plasma cannon turrets, and its energy core is even protected by a little energy shield, which can be taken out with a rocket, what to be called as mobile death trap as Scarab.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, interesting, here we go. Last comment from Alan. It says, this is a blatant copy, but I think it could work. The Mole. A la a vehicle in Thunderbirds, it has a massive drill on the front, allowing it to travel underground behind enemy lines where it serves as release troops from Spartans. That's pretty cool, and that's actually a vehicle in Command and Conquer.
Okay.
They have like exactly what you think it looks like. It's a big drill that tunnels underground, and it's a troop transport.
Is it like the drill from Incredibles?
The mole.
Yeah. That's pretty much what you're thinking about. What you're thinking about is what it is. Anyway, that's pretty cool. So
Very
thanks,
nice.
guys.
Thank you, everybody. What's Discord have to say?
Discord was very naughty this week. Shame on
Oh,
all
boy.
of you. They spammed the chat and it made me very angry, so now I have slow chat on. Shame on
You activated slow
I
chat.
activated slow chat. There was like
That's
50 messages that weren't related. I'm like, you guys, I'm gonna kill you. So I put on slow chat and silenced them. Okay, so same question on Discord. Rye says, I would want a smaller, more agile version of the hog. It's called the mongoose. A sand
Right.
a sand rail with mounted auto turrets, 2 seats, fills the gap between warthog and mongoose, named Piglet. Perfect.
Piglet.
I like the
Nice.
name.
Matt says General Expedition Train Flood utilizing chassis. Oh god, I'm getting a call. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry, Matt. General.
God damn it, Trent.
It was Trent.
Stop bringing Krysta.
It was
Burns
Trent.
back.
How dare he? He must have
I
just
know
got
it
off
was.
work.
Kick his ass after the
I
show,
will.
Krysta.
It was my fault for not turning off my ring.
No. It's Trent's
Oh,
fault.
okay.
Everyone knows this.
Matt says General Expedition Terrain Flood utilizing chassis, killing Echo Drive, and a flood-infested warthog capable of going anywhere due to the additional biomass of the base. It doesn't need a driver or gunner, aka get fucked. That's what it is.
Jesus.
Okay.
He worked hard for that
He did.
one.
He worked really
Yeah, he
hard
did.
for that one. All right, next one is Snark. He is currently my fanboy, I guess. He's my current fanboy.
Yep.
6 wheels, military green, bulletproof wheels, no window, just cameras, 2 mounted turrets, 1 front, 1 back, bullets, rockets, 90 miles an hour, max speed, a flag waving the words, Krysta is the best host, and if you disagree, I will shoot you with these guns. Also omits the warthog theme from Red vs. Blue. So, very good.
What a nice young man.
I know, what a nice guy. Resident fanboy.
It's Trent, isn't it?
No, it's not. That's definitely not something Trent would say. Trent doesn't even listen to the show.
Blasphemy.
Physical Sky says probably the ultimate vehicle available, or Puma.
That's good.
Probably the ultimate vehicle available. Alright, unlimited ammo, voice control, sweet polka music. Cons, enemy can hear you from anywhere, makes you deaf, almost kills Sarge, and kidnaps Blues. So, perfect, beautiful. Shadow of Oni says, so basically a quad cannon scorpion tank for the UNSC called the Annihilator that can fire MAC rounds to take down a CAS class ship from the surface. It's got those fleet anchors so it doesn't tip when firing, and still is agile as the Scorpion from Halo 2 or 3. Oh my goodness.
Annihilator's not a animal. That's okay.
We're making a new animal.
Called the
Annihilator.
Okay, Wolf has quite a long one. So, new vehicle, Chasis, but it's a bit larger than the Scorpion. Same shape, but with more armor. A 180mm fixed cannon in the middle of the Chasis. Good against vehicles, great against chassis. Chassis?
Chassis is how you say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the bottom.
Okay,
bottom
I don't know
vehicle.
vehicle stuff.
That's okay.
Okay, good against vehicles and structures. The first upgrade gives you 2 small turrets, 2 machine guns. Second upgrade gives you turrets and 1 grenade launcher. Third upgrade replaces the nades for small missile pods, and grenade launchers have faster rate. So he's making this would be for Halo Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls it the Allosaurus.
Yes, I love it. So I think when I read that in the Discord, I think more of the UNSC vehicles should be named for dinosaurs.
I know,
Come
right?
Ooh,
where are my dinosaurs at?
Where's the T-Rex?
Oh.
Somebody create the T-Rex. What the hell is that thing? I'm sure it's just Rex shop.
Okay, finally we have Dezudo, variation of the M290 Mongoose, dual rear-mounted Hydra launchers to be used by the rear passenger, codename Porcupine, inspired by today's Halopedia Trivia Tuesday.
Oh,
he made an illustration as well, which looks like he just photoshopped 2 guns on the end of a mongoose. I love the pictures, though. They really help pull everything together. Thank you. All right, thank you, Discord. You better behave this week.
They're on slow chat.
Oh, I'll make the slow chat slower and slower, too.
Very nice. I wanted to do a quick call out before I close the show. Is Installation 00, the YouTube channel, he did a video just recently. So if you're listening to the show, you can go find it on fire bases.
Ooh.
And he talks about all the different variations between Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2, and not really fire bases in mainline Halo, but he talks about everything that builds them up and a lot of interesting detail. So go check that out. If you have not heard of Installation 00, he does some good work. All right, that will do it for our debriefing of the Dome of Light mission from Halo Wars. On the next episode, we'll be covering Scarab.
I love this mission. It's one of my favorites.
Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. Until next time, evolved.
Evolved.